everybody! Now I'm going to teach you guys how to eliminate a variable. All right, so the whole concept is that you're trying to make sure that when you add these variables to each other, they equal 0. So for example, 3x plus negative 3x. That equals 0, right? Not 0x, just 0. Negative 4y plus 4y. That equals 0. 9x plus negative 9x. That equals 0. So that's your goal. You want to make sure that when you add them to each other, they equal 0. But look at this example. 5x plus 5x. Does that equal 0? No, it does not. So that's when you have to ask yourself, what could I multiply to each term so that when I do add them to each other, they will equal 0? Well, that first 5x, I can multiply it times 1. And the second 5x, I can multiply it times negative 1. Because look, 5x times 1 gives me 5x. And 5x times negative 1 gives me negative 5x. And then when I add them together, guess what? It equals 0. And that is our goal. Figuring out what we can multiply to each term so when we add them together, they equal 0. Let's do another one. 6x plus 3x. That's not going to give us 0. So now we have to think, what can I multiply to each term so that when I add them, they equal 0? I can multiply 6x times 1, which will give me 6x. And I can multiply 3x times negative 2, because then that will give me negative 6x. And then when I add them together, it equals 0. Let's do another example. Negative 7y plus negative 7y. That's not going to equal 0. So I have to think, what can I multiply to each term so when I add them, they equal 0? I can multiply the negative 7y times 1, which will give me negative 7y. And I can multiply the second one times negative 1, and that will give me positive 7y. And when I add them to each other, that will equal 0. And by the way, I could have done the first one times negative 1 and the second one times 1 and still get 0. All right, looking at this last example, negative 4 plus 8, that's not going to give me 0. So I have to think, what can I multiply to each term so that when I add them, they equal 0? I can multiply negative 4y times 2. And I can multiply, which will give me negative 8y. And I can multiply the 8y times 1, which gives me 8y. And then when I add them together, that equals 0. So the basic concept is, what can I multiply to each term so that when I add the results together, it equals 0? That's it.